it should be able to just jump into here. However, I'm going to hope that I can just do this. I have minimal casualties. Let's hope. And also, do this. Although the question is, am I actually prepped? I think I am. The oddest song I like in a genre I generally don't like, whatever you would call this genre, is Yes, Homeworld. I mean, Yes is technically progressive rock. Like, if we're talking about Yes, the band, Yes is prog. Are we talking about the video game or the song, Twizzler? Oh, no. Whew! Kiddo just walked past. Run, kiddo. No. It's talking about the band Yes. As in like 90125 Roundabout and, you know, some of the greatest prog rock ever written. Kiddo. Run. Is that song actually for Homeworld, the game series? Today I learned. I didn't know that. Fun fact, did you guys know that Motley Crue wrote a song for Tribes? It's maybe one of the worst video game tie-in songs I've ever heard. Just like, period. Like, no contest. One of the worst things I've ever heard written for a video game. Prog rock is one of my favorite genres of music, period. Wait, what's the name of that kid? Kosoth. Last words were playing make-believe. What direction is it heading? Okay, front door is shut. Don't collapse the fort. I'll try. Although that would be very hard. It is completely underground. Caving it in would be easier. That's where they just say Tribes 20 times over a riff that they probably rejected from, like, their other writings. Run, Dwarf. It's literally just like they took a riff that they probably pre-recorded for something unrelated and then just screamed Tribes a whole bunch. What I want to know is who was in the room when that happened and how did that happen? Like, oh, no, we're not set up. Shit. Crap. I thought that I was set up for another one. But I'm not. Some dingus exec? Well, clearly. That much is a given. How much dolomite am I sitting on? Enough. Well, it explains why the dwarves were running in the wrong direction. I thought I had another one of these ready to go. I didn't. Don't even have the levers set up. I may not even have mechanisms, actually. Oh, no, I got mechanisms. We're good. Some people like Motley Crue, just like some people like Nickelback. I own 2 Motley Crue tapes. I can't judge. Shout at the Devil's Fun. But like, they're not great. They're fine. Same feels, you know? Same vibe. You like them both, TVH? I mean, hey. Nobody's perfect. The first step to being an obnoxious fan of music is being self-aware enough to know when you have bad taste. We're all allowed to have bad taste. Except for the people who, like, willingly listen to Imagine Dragons. You're a problem and you need to stop. Please. God. Stop giving them money. Many, many hours of watching my YouTube vids later, you've ended up here in a bad music taste discussion. You're here for it. Welcome to my stream where I talk about nothing related to the game I'm playing most of the time. They're not unforgivable. They're just exceptionally forgetful. Forgettable. You know, although Hobo, help me out here. If you were stuck on a desert island, and the desert island... Oh, actually, just chat in general. If you're stuck on a desert island, and the desert island plays propaganda music 24/7 that you cannot escape, and you have a choice of 2 bands that you can listen to in between the propaganda. Imagine Dragons or the Chainsmokers. Although I don't know if the Chainsmokers are really, but they're more music producers. Who would you listen to? You have to choose one. Bullet. True. I mean, this is a desert island question, right? Is self-mutilation an option? Well, I mean, it's your body, right? Because I really fucking hate the Chainsmokers because they, like, are the cause of, but first let me take a selfie. But at the same time, I think I would choose the Chainsmokers. No, this is the propaganda music. Orange. It's the psychic warfare. I think 8 Forgotten Beasts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 beasts. I mean, there was a number of times when we've been in Vegas, Hobo, where I've just like pointed out to people, this is a Chainsmokers song, right? My favorite thing about the Chainsmokers, which very much like is my exact feeling of like me being a music elitist, I guess, and thinking that certain artists are boring, is the Chainsmokers just have this. There was this video. Okay, this was like pre-TikTok, but I think of this as a TikTok video. I think it was actually a YouTube video. There was a YouTube video from a while ago, which was how to write a Chainsmokers song, and it's just some guy plunking away at the piano, right? And Thob. It's just some person's hand on a piano, but they explain in like 90 seconds of chords why I hate the Chainsmokers. It's because I know this makes me sound like a stuck-up twit whenever I say this. I know too much about music. So whenever I listen to the Chainsmokers, I'm like, this is just the same same chord progression as the last 12 songs they wrote. Why does anybody like this? And it kind of grates on me after a while. Like it grinds me into a pulp, and I just want it to stop. We're almost at the point where I can catch this beast. Ignorance is bliss, yeah, because if you know too much music theory, you get mad whenever you hear a David Guetta song as well. I know too much music theory, and all of this shit just irritates me. I did name Bone Doll too, didn't I? Yes, I did. Whew. How is it modern if it's from the last 40 years? Wouldn't modern be like the last couple of years? It happens, Hilmar. Also, I play the game too fast sometimes. But yeah, we have Nomer, who is a gigantic feathered alligator with wings, and it is slavering. Its feathers are downy, beware its fire. We got this one, which we also caught today, which is a gigantic quadruped composed of clear glass. It has a knobby shell and it squirms and fidgets, beware its deadly spit. This one probably got the most kills against my dwarves. Then we got this one, which is a enormous scaly leech. It has thin wings of stretched skin, and it undulates rhythmically. Its black scales are round and overlapping, beware its noxious secretions. We've got this one up here, which is killed a nanny goat. It's a hairy stegosaurid. It has a fat bulging trunk. It is ravening. Its eyes glow chartreuse. Its gray hair is patchy. Beware its poison vapors. We've got this one, which is a huge cobra where its external ribs it bites. It poisonous because it's a cobra. This one is a crab that shoots webs. This one is a quadruped composed of clear glass. It has a knobby trunk. Beware its poison gas. This one is a what? Oh, okay. It's disappearing because there's invisible boulders on the floor. Don't worry about it. This one is a forgotten beast that is a blob composed of ash. It has a spiral shell and it undulates rhythmically. And this one is a forgotten beast that is an enormous leech. It has wings and it is ravening. Beware its noxious secretions. We're playing big angry Pokemon. So normal Pokemon. Meaningless just got another definition. At best, I would say they are, like, inconsequential and not particularly memorable. in regards to chain smokers. So Ark. No, that's Big Angry Dino. Dinosaurs are like not Pokemon. I've never poked a dino in my life. At least not one that didn't fight back. We're not going to do Forgotten Beast deathmatch. I'm going to do Forgotten Beasts versus Demons deathmatch. But I have to catch more, build an arena, and then dig too deeply and greedily. How goes the stream? No complaints. Chat, how's stream so far? Are you enjoying it? Yes, no? How many left? Till we get bored of the gimmick. Manager, please go manage. Also, I did assign this, didn't I? So I was moving really quickly and I saw this dwarf and I thought this dwarf was in the water and I was like, how? How? All right. Don't really want to use jet doors, but I'll use it because it's the door I have. Probably the crab that shoots webs. Because it's kind of a funny mental image to me. It's probably my personal favorite. What about you? Do you have a favorite? You know, maybe it's a problem of this. Well, it's not a problem of this. So now I guess we wait. You took a nap? I wish I could nap. I envy anybody who can nap. Kind of liked the wannabe dragon. What, the crocodile that shoots fire? Dwarves are just dumping items. We're in an ad break. I'll pause if anything interesting happens. Napping usually is like a worst case scenario because my day is already ruined. If I nap it'll just ruin my day usually. Okay, number one, you're only 2 years older than me. Twizzler? I don't think so. So, don't ever call me Sonny again, by the way. We don't have that kind of relationship. We are equals. You're not my parental figure. Don't pretend to be. You don't get the right. Streamer saying Zangy again. Angie? Eh? Quanky? Sure. Angie? Uh-uh. No. 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 I don't care if you're 75, 42, or 151 or the fucking king of the England. You don't get to call me Sonny. My dad doesn't even do that. My dad has more respect for me than you. How can you remove an engraved slab? If you're asking about how can you remove the engraving from the slab, you can't. Otherwise, you click on it and you deconstruct it. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Dulkin, Twizzler. Sheesh. I have a weird sense of humor, okay? Work with me here. I think these two can just be forbidden. And forgotten. That's why we love you. Or hate me. Either or. Pick your poison. Pause for a sec. Jump to here. Eight beasts. 9 beasts? 9, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 beasts. About to be 10. You require tier 2 to use the commands, Josh, though. No, I don't. I do not do timestamping for my VODs, especially not on YouTube, because ain't nobody got time for that. Let's just lock this door. But there is a viewer named Shogun who, on my VOD channel, which is at Blind Extras, usually does timestamps and puts them in the comments. I usually heart them, but like at the end of a stream, which is usually 10 plus hours, or usually in the ballpark of 8 to 10 hours, last thing I want to do is go do more. Yeah, it was to the point where I asked them if they were a bot because of how consistent they were. It's nice when people do stuff like that. could break that. Let's get this raising. And that raising. It's the first one closed. This one's much easier than the other one for not running around. Okay. Can finally go back to work. And I need to build another one of those behind the scenes. So that brings us up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 beasts. They do like heal wounds. They retain scars, the same as dwarves. And they don't regen severed limbs. Well, the more sinister purpose, I guess it depends on your definition of sinister. The purpose of this is to eventually make them fight with hell. But yes, it is beast collection. Why would I do that? There's a trillion different cave spiders that make cave spider silk all over the caves. And I have a million, not quite, sheep, llamas, alpacas, goats, all of which, well, not the goats, but most of those of which we are harvesting fur and yarn from. So why would I spend a bunch of extra nonsense time to make a forgotten beast shoot webs at a thing by micromanaging a lever when I could just like open the front door and get webs for free? Why in the world would I do that? Which half the time I have disabled anyway. When you can't even trade clothing made out of Forgotten Beasts stuff. Like, genuinely, that's the reason. It's like, I can't sell it, so it's worthless to me. If I could sell it, then I'd be interested, but can't sell it, so thus it's worthless to me. I've got more than enough fabric anyway. That's my answer as to why not. I don't see the point when, you know, materials for that sort of thing are already more than plentiful enough. I think it's a bug. As with many things in Dwarf Fort, I think it's a bug. But I also, why? I mean, there's no difference in value, or actually, I think they're actually a value level of 0, like they're literally worthless. But there's no difference in value between like Forgotten Beast Silk and Cave Spider Silk. So like, why? It's just unnecessary micromanagement, basically. You'd think. But Dwarf Fortress doesn't care what you think. It's like something I could see myself maybe using one of those for would be to like create webbed traps to catch demons, which I might do in the future. Like that's something I might use it for. But like just as a process of, you know, or to catch forgotten beasts even. But like as a process of, you know, for making silk. Like that's no, there's no reason there for bragging rights. There's no bragging rights there because something is worth doing for bragging rights when people don't realize that it's possible. When everybody in chat is asking why I'm not doing it, there's no longer bragging rights there because it's expected that you do it. So not doing it is the more interesting tactic. I do plenty of things in this game for bragging rights. See the video where I tamed a gremlin. But like... Oh yeah, well there was that one Forgotten Beast in this fort earlier that shot webs and was also made of fire, so it was shooting burning webs. Well, I kind of have a Forgotten Beast zoo. Do dwarves actually, like, appreciate zoos? I thought they didn't. Like, as far as I've known, they haven't, historically anyway. Here come the wheelbarrows. With the clap? What do you mean with the clap? Is that like the boots with the fur? Here's the thing. If Forgotten Beast silk was more valuable than regular silk, or was considered a rarer commodity even, sure. I would absolutely set up the drawbridges and the cages and the whatnots and the stuff and the chains and the things to be able to harvest Forgotten Beast silk. Because it's not, it's completely lost on me. That's mostly all it is. Where they go there and there's literally nothing to do. I mean, the one time I've made museums that I actually want dwarves to visit, what I do is I make them into a dining hall so that they bring meals there and eat there, and then they appreciate all of the things on pedestals around. This door is going to get toppled. Just go up here and just get this queued up. Boop, boop. And then I will go up to here, and we're just going to go around the edges. I also think we're getting through the aquifer because this doesn't look like aquifer anymore. It doesn't. At least not as consistently an aquifer. And you here can be shale. Never really enjoyed the art. I have occasionally seen dwarves admire art on a pedestal, but yeah, it is pretty few and far between that they actually do and get the positive thoughts out of it. Work on this stuff. I can also get rid of this door, this wall that I built. It's a lot of lava. So this is now the direction that they take when constructing. It would be a very bad shame if somebody were to pull a lever and accidentally fire off one of those minecarts, eh? It'd be a real shame. Like, half the fort would die, like, immediately. You could, in fact, put a masterwork pedestal on a pedestal. Then they could admire their pedestal while admiring the pedestal. It would be a pedestal positioned on a pedestal in a masterwork sense. Beer. Thank you very much for the 16th month, Calgar. I greatly appreciate you. Seriously, it means a lot. Thanks for keeping that sub alive. You cannot put a pedestal on a pedestal because a pedestal needs to be constructed to be put on a pedestal. Needs to be constructed to have stuff put on the pedestal. And if you construct a pedestal, you can't put a pedestal on a pedestal. So in order to put a pedestal on a pedestal, it needs to be a constructed pedestal. And if the pedestal's not been constructed, it can't have pedestals put on the pedestal. Did you get that? However, you can put minecarts in minecarts, and somebody in chat figured out that you could make nested minecarts in minecarts. So you can fill up a minecart and then put it into a minecart and then fill up the minecart and then put it into the minecart exponentially. Saying the same word 3 times fast is easy. It's saying similar words fast that's hard. So like Irish wristwatch is damn near impossible, as an example, of course. Are these accessible even? Oh shit, they may not be. Okay, we need that deconstructed to be able to access this. That's going pretty well, Cyanide. Yourself? I like that a display case is a pedestal. You know that, right? I mean, like, they operate the exact same way. One is made out of a different material, but they do operate exactly the same way. I feel like you'd need like some sort of particle accelerator to do that, to create a black hole in Dwarf. So if you nest enough minecarts in minecarts and then launch the minecarts out of the minecarts at more minecarts, maybe that'll have the desired effect that you're looking for. If only we had a railgun to test. It doesn't need testing. I know it works. It works flawlessly, even. Why does it need to be tested? That would turn all my dwarves into paste. And I already have plenty of paste. I need more dwarves. I feel like if any game is not going to suffer from issues with integer overflow, it's probably going to be Dwarf Fortress. Like, if there's any game that's going to be immune to that, it's probably this one. Because this game is, like, weirdly stable in very unexpected ways. And also extremely unstable in equally unexpected ways. I mean, this is true. Accidentally blasting my mare with the laser. Vegetable pedestal? Yeah, kind of works as a tongue twister. It's not that bad, though. You know, it's kind of funny when I intentionally talk slowly in my videos and people are like, could you talk slower? I'm like, well, I guess in my streams you just get like the full unfiltered source of that. You know, like for me and Tarn with his geniusness, I kind of stumble back and forth between Tarn being a genius and Tarn just being more committed to the bit than anyone else. It's like anybody could probably make a game like this, but very few people are committed enough to making a game like this that you'd actually get to any point where it's worth even, like, messing with. Like, the first version of Dwarf Fortress took them 4 years, right? Most games don't take 4 years. It's like most people are just, like, very instant gratification. They're like the opposite of instant gratification game development, where it's, like, slow, long-term, here for the long haul kind of game development. Just nobody does that, so... It's like genius? Probably. Exceptionally dedicated? Most certainly. The game would just run with it, so we also got bazillion gems now? What? I don't think I've ever seen somebody manage to overflow the wealth in Dwarf Fort, that's for sure. That would be an incredible development if that happened. Okay, let's also go here. That's not the piece I wanted. How many blocks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let's just go here. You're almost done. You down here can get deconstructed. I think I'm through the aquifer. Or at least this layer doesn't have an aquifer, which is really nice. That's all done. You go to clear that. Clear the last one. Clear this. You know, a lot of Dwarf Fortress, like, things like that would highly just depend, like, you'd have to do it seed specific. Because it would just entirely depend on, like, how close to the surface your valuable item deposits ended up being. Under any weight, don't worry about it. Don't worry about item structural integrity in Dwarf Fortress. The second you start to question some things about this game, I'm not going to say it ruins it, but, like, I think what I should do is put quartzite strips along the tops of these. I have so much of it, and I think this would look really nice. Okay, let's also go all the way around here. See how much of this water is left. How is the dwarves? Aside from all the ones that died today, pretty great. Well, quite a few of them died today. But it's certainly been, you know, very... Chad, how's Dwarf's been? I'm in a weird mood today where, like, I don't know what's good or not. I have, like, these days where, like... I don't know. I think it's, like, just when all of the problems with my brain queue up and just, like, hit all at once simultaneously. So I don't know. I think today's good. Personally, like, I mean, Twitch is having a sale on packs of gift subs, so today's pretty great in that way. But, like, yeah, I think it's good. I think the dwarves are good. I think the stream's been good. I'm working on my nice little staircase, and it's starting to look like I'm through the aquifer-ish a bit, which is lovely, and I'm excited if that's the case. Because that means that I can just dig, which is great. And then this process will speed up significantly. But this appears to be outputting water again, so there's only one layer here where I can do that, and it's, well, we're almost through it already. Dealer's choice. Didn't you die earlier today, Red Fogel? I think you did. I'll give you a dwarf, but for future reference, if you die, please don't request a dwarf the same day. Unless you requested one yesterday, in which case then my memory is just bad, which is also fair. I'll give you this dwarf, because it's the happiest dwarf that I saw first. Whoopsies. Missed it while you were AFK. A lot of people have been gifted subs today, mate. Thanks for being around to be able to get one. And not being the person who pops in with just question marks as to why did I get gifted a sub by the streamer that I've never watched before, which happened earlier today as well. And honestly, I don't blame them. I feel the same way whenever it happens to me. This dwarf is Red Fogel II, and they could not care less about his own appearance and talents or other personal vanities. He has an utterly languid pace of easy living, calm and slow. He is extremely confident in himself in situations requiring his skills. He's not a private person and is scatterbrained, often confident under pressure. He is confident under pressure, and he isn't particularly ambitious. He often feels envious of others. He is somewhat uncomfortable around those that appear unusual or live differently from himself. And he has a calm demeanor and doesn't mind a little tumult and discord in day-to-day living. He has a greedy streak, and he generally enjoys the company of others. He generally finds himself to be quite hopeful about the future and often greets others with a hug. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. He dreams of raising a family, and that dream was realized. Personally, finds the acquisition and use of power abhorrent and would have all masters toppled. Sees romance as one of the highest ideals and has a greedy streak. And he is disturbed by this as he values a quiet and peaceful existence. He doesn't see cooperation as valuable, and likes Bitchmas Coal as well as gold, indigo tourmaline, and gems and shields, in the words of the prim wisps and the sound of the euphoric butterfly and the sight of the silkiness of festivals, and when possible, prefers to consume brown bullhead, garden cress, and single grain wheat beer, and two-humped camel's milk, and bitter vetch leaves, and absolutely hates slugs. And thanks for redeeming a dwarf. He's a novice mace dwarf and a high siege master. He has a wife. His eldest is dead. His youngest daughter is daughter. His youngest daughter is not dead, so that's good. But his eldest son is dead, which is very unfortunate. His wife is alive, which is good. He has one friend, Olan, who's still alive, which is also good. He's a member of the sect of Amethyst, worshipping the god of gems and jewels. Has some bracelets on, as well as very nice cloth, although his undies are getting a little old, and his shirt's also getting a little old. So, am I making shirts? I am not. You couldn't have redeemed today? No, I mean, I think your dwarf died today, but... Or I seem to recall your dwarf dying today, but I also could be very much wrong. I don't know. My brain's very scattered today. Like, I feel like somebody put me in a rock tumbler for, like, most of last night. It's kind of like the best way to describe it. I was subjected to YouTube Shorts last night by me accidentally bumping the button with my thumb, and it popped up the short of me when I had that zombie baby, like the dwarf whose baby was zombified, and it was an intelligent undead baby, and the mom just immediately picked it up and kept running with it. And I have to say that is still, to this day, one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in this game. Is just like... child dies and is baby, and mom picks up baby, and... carries baby forever. Until mom dies. I maintain it's genuinely one of the most distressing things I've ever seen in Dwarf Horde. It's all good, Red Fogel. It's all good. I really should just, like, not give a shit about that. Just not worry about that rule. It's not so big of a deal these days. It's only really an issue when there's, like, 5 times the people watching, you know? Yeah, I want to say that the clip ends with me saying, yeah, go, because somebody in chat says, I'm going to go hug my kid, BRB. And I'm like, yeah, go hug your kid. Because, like, ugh. It's grim. Dino, say hello. But how's your day been, Red Fogel? And welcome back to the land of the dwarf. Will Dwarf take his daughter to a Lady Raven concert? Trap stream. Von Galactic, thank you much for the raid. How was the fording today? If you guys don't know Von Galactic, it was the voice of the gremlin in the last video I uploaded. You should go watch his stuff. Was also playing the Dwarfith of Fortith todayeth. How's things? How was the fort? Welcome, Raiders. Go click on that heart button at the top of the stream. Zariel the Fallen, hello. Nada. Vaughn. Archimani. We are catching forgotten beasts. I keep forgetting the number of beasts we've caught, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I should put a goat here so that it's funny again when I'm counting and then it's suddenly just a goat. Because, you know, you got to catch them somehow. The plan is, in the long run, is to make them fight hell. You forgot dwarves can't drink salt water. Why are you trying to make them drink salt water? They're not... Dwarves shouldn't be drinking water. The poor dwarves. Why are you forcing them through such horrific torture? It's horrible. I hope they get a better Fortress Overseer at some point. Pokemon mode, trust me, that is an original thought, and you are definitely the first person to ask me that today. I mean, they are spheres. I've never played a Pokemon game, true story. And I just kind of make round rooms anyways, so that's purely a coincidence. These are not supposed to be Pokeballs. They're Forgotten Beast balls. Yeah, sure. We've got, oops. I was going to say a strange mood, but then I clicked it and it went away. Whoopsies. No, that's not what I wanted. Not to be confused with Dragon Balls. Beast Balls exist in Pokemon games? Well, today I learned. I feel like Forgotten Beasts need environmental enrichment. Can you put a bed and a dresser and some artifacts in with them? How do you propose I get them out? Well, I guess I could kite them out pretty easily. But no. No. They do not deserve such simple niceties. I could engrave the floors if you want. I don't think that my pets deserve such variety of furniture. My dwarves don't even all have bedrooms yet, man. And you want me to give the beasts more furniture? Could call Nintendo sues. I mean, any similarities or relation to Nintendo in this here Fortress of Dwarves is completely coincidental, and please don't sue me. Is that enough to make Nintendo not sue me? Because probably not. Actually, they might sue me because I've never played a Nintendo game. Isn't Nintendo, like, showing... Didn't they do a Direct today? Or was that, like, tomorrow? I know there's a Direct happening in, like, soon. Bonedoll II has claimed a Craftsdwarf shop. 'Twas today? What'd they show? I'm actually, like, I have no interest in buying a Nintendo console, but I'm actually, like, mildly curious as to what Nintendo's doing. Was today? Metroid Prime 4. Oh, okay. What's mid about that? Metroid Prime 4 and garbage. The Pokemon? So they showed a Pokemon game, is what you're saying. Because I've seen those frame rates. I would agree. Although, Tamagotchi Life, yeah, okay, fair. That's actually from the era when I was doing Nintendo stuff, was that first one. Which also, GTA, but with Pokemon. I don't think, you know... Okay, so this might be a weird take, but hear me out for a second. Grand Theft Auto isn't successful because it's open world car Robbie Bang Bang game. Grand Theft Auto was successful in the past because it had fun writing. Because when other people tried to make open world theft, crime, shooty bang bang game, they're very rarely that good. In fact, usually just kind of get laughed out of the room for being bad. Saints Row 1, as an example. And they're good because it's another one of those and not because they're actually good. And as time has gone on, that format of game is pretty trite. And the reason the new Grand Theft Auto is going to be successful is because of brand recognition and psychopaths who spend trillions of dollars on shark cards. Not because it's a particularly unique thing anymore. And the whole make thing but with IP when it comes to open world driving, isn't that like just most open world games now? So if like you make Pokemon but Grand Theft Auto, Pokemon what you can rob a car with a Pikachu does sound hysterical. I'm not knocking that. That sounds really funny. I don't think that's necessarily a slam dunk success. See, I disagree with that, Red Fogel, on one stupid, basic, unimportant point. I didn't play copies that I bought of Grand Theft Auto because my parents didn't let me buy Grand Theft Auto. So I played Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and 4 without any audio. Not joking. It had like gun sounds, but no radio stations. Or car sounds, actually. So I had to use mod packs to use my own audio. I didn't play those games with the radio stations until like a decade later. I did not hear that. Did that even go off, Shark Jumping Walrus? What the heck? Maybe I just didn't hear it. I really need to fix speaking of audio, I need to fix my sound command audio. It's way too low. I've needed to do that for a while. So, I mean, I read the subtitle of it, and I've seen it in YouTube memes, in videos. So, like, I know what the voice line sounds like. Hey, Nico, it's your cousin. Let's go bowling. But, like, those games didn't need the soundtrack. And, like, I realized that a lot of people are like, oh, that soundtrack changed my taste in music. I just already had that taste in music, so y'all are slow. Is all I come back to with that. Trying GTA 2 again was hard with the top-down view. GTA 1 and 2 are very different games, yeah. Like, I'm sure they were gold. Like, Grand Theft Auto 5 was the first Grand Theft Auto game I played with the radio, and you want to know something fucked? I turned it off. Because I streamed those games, so I didn't want to get, like, my streams muted. Or I streamed that game to, like, 8 people or whatever back in 2016, because nobody fucking watched me stream it. But, like, I streamed it because a viewer gifted it to me and I wanted to play it. So I streamed all of Grand Theft Auto 5 when that came out, and I had the radio off the whole time. So I don't think I've ever, like, played a Grand Theft Auto game from end to end with the soundtrack on. I didn't play Hot Pursuit or Hot Pursuit 2, so I played Most Wanted. Yeah, I mean, the writing in those games were great. Thankfully, they have subtitles, right? What's weird is, like, the things that had no sound in the games that I played was the cutscenes and the radios. But, like, the in-game voice lines, like the in-engine voice lines, played in all of the versions I had. So, like, while running... And I could, like, make custom soundtracks because, like, I could just load music files into there. They just didn't have them to make the downloads smaller. But, like, yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating to me. Because, like, I guess I must have had a very different experience with those games. And, like, what kept me interested in those games was the writing and the comedy. And that stuff, to me, landed even without the audio and the cutscenes. And something that's kind of funny is I've only actually played through San Andreas once, like, in its entirety. And the whole, like, I'll have a number 9, a number 8, and number blah, blah, blah. Obviously, that cutscene had no sound. And I wasn't really paying attention during that cutscene. That was, like, one where I can't remember what I was doing. I think my mom was in the room or something. Like, I had to, like, minimize the game for one reason or another. So I completely missed that cutscene. So I went with absolutely no knowledge of that joke until, like, a decade later. And I remember hearing people referencing it and going, like, I don't remember that. What the fuck? Are they even on? Bone Doll II, the crafts dwarf, has created Gus Gash Badok and Esneth Romek, a fungi wood scepter, and offers it to the head cave of clobbering. Cave in that head with clobbering. I'll put it in the library. I mean, sure. They're all just well, I'll say this. Probably up there with the best licensed soundtracks, but those games didn't have any original music in them, did they? And that's just all up to musical taste, right? Like if a game has a licensed soundtrack that just happens to perfectly fit your musical taste, then like, yeah. It's like me and Tony Hawk. Which admittedly, I don't think I like the Tony Hawk games all that much. Probably should try them again, but I also just kind of don't want to give Activision money at this point, so we just won't. Zobeatroot, we'll see you later. Thanks for hanging out today. You get to mug people at night in the new Pokemon, so maybe we're getting GTA Pokemon. I don't know. Now I just want to see Pikachu rob a car. Or like, you know, Little Kitty Big City is another game where it's like, it's Grand Theft Auto, but Little Kitty Big City. It's Grand Theft Auto, but you're a cat. Also is a pretty good pitch, I'll admit. I'm sure people still call it this, so it's not like man, I miss the days when people called Red Dead Redemption Grand Theft Horse. I never played GTA 1 and 2. Brian in YouTube chat is saying, did GTA 1 and 2 have a story? I just remember the top-down look and trying to get 5 stars. Yeah, honestly, same thing. I just remember dying a lot, actually, because the controls in those games were kind of whack. That's like kind of all I remember about Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 is just dying a bunch. I'm being like, man, I'm bad at this. How you doing, Ranger Rick? Yeah, I think we all know that, but like, did those games have writing? Rustler? Man, I forget about Rustler. I saw Rustler at PAX, and I was like, oh shit, you're actually making Grand Theft Horse. Huh. I think like maybe what the bigger discussion is like Grand Theft Auto was the like first Grand Theft Auto 3 was like the the prototype open world game as we know it in a modern sense, right? So like you don't really get to modern video games without Grand Theft Auto 3. And I don't think Grand Theft Auto 3 ages all that well. Like of all those games, like that is the worst one to go back to. Like the hardest game to go back to by far. Would be Grand Theft Auto 3. Actually, no, this needs to be channeled down first. Ramp. Shale continues. Looks like there's no aquifer here, which is great, if that's actually the case. Because then this is the last one where I need to do as much of the silly digging extras. Farts burbs in a group of joggers, or they were monks in orange suits into a bus and meat factory, and then there was doing missions for 4 organizations, and that's one that you recall. So you recall more of the early Grand Theft Autos than I do. Yeah, I don't know. I always had a weird relationship with Grand Theft Auto. Like I loved that franchise as a kid, but like never really got to properly experience it, I guess. And you know, I gotta give my parents credit because they took video game ratings very seriously, but also like I can't give my parents too much credit for that because like they took them too seriously. I've told this story many times, but like the first M-rated game that I got to play at home that I bought Well, actually, I think technically my mom bought it for me, but I paid her back. Was Just Cause 2. And the reason I got to play Just Cause 2 was because I showed my dad some footage of it, and after he was done belly laughing, he's like, "Okay, yeah, fine, we can go get that. That's fine." And I was like 16, I think. Every other game I just stole. Like, I just went and got it from the Swedish Public Library. Which is probably worse, honestly, but also, like, not a bad way to learn how to use computers, I guess. Just because it was rated M? Oh yeah, no, totally. No, like the thing is, my parents knew nothing about video games. They weren't people who played games at all. If anything, I would say that they were like the opposite of people who were video game enjoyers. Like, in some ways, my parents were kind of anti-technology, especially when it comes to entertainment technology. That seems bad, that cave-in. Not actually. Oh, I see. Because the building was queued up. I don't think anybody's dead. You just got injured. You got some bruising, but you'll be okay. Bruised lung. That'll heal, though. Bruise. You'll be okay. Nobody died. Uh-oh. Never mind. Somebody died. I lied. What? Oh. Huh. Whoops. I can fix this. Somebody self-seppuku'd on a minecart because apparently I didn't turn them all off. Dude, put that down. Put that down. That thing's dangerous. You don't know where that's been. Okay. Awkward. Maffle Unibust is your last name. Well, at least it wasn't related to my dumb cave-in. Why is there a massive blood trail there? Because a dwarf, like, sandwiched themselves between two platinum minecarts and probably crushed a couple limbs and then dragged themselves trying to get to the hospital and died halfway there. That's why. It's a grim sight. I didn't even think dwarves had that much blood. They have a surprisingly large amount of blood. Okay, so I have something to say on this topic about I didn't think things had X amount of blood. I did first aid cadets for a number of years, which is called St. John Ambulance. And whilst in first aid cadets, we used to do these like first aid scenarios for like our kids or like kids that were in our group plus like unrelated people who were like taking classes and stuff. So we had some people that were like weirdly good at doing like violence related makeup. And the best part about it was we got real good at making fake blood for these events. And there was one time where we were like, okay, how much blood is in a person? So we looked up how much blood was in a person, and it's quite a lot. We made that much and just dumped it on the ground outside. Just to see, like, how much blood would need to leave a person to be, like, all of a person. What we did first was we were like, all right, so let's make this amount of blood, and then dump out enough blood to kill a person. Okay, so that's how much blood needs to be on the ground for a person to be dead. Okay, so, like, how much blood would need to be on the ground for the person to be dead, but also, like, the rest of it? I've also told this story before, but then, like, you know, we went and when we were done making all the blood for that particular event that we needed, we had, like, it was, like, 8, like, basically large size like Home Depot or paint buckets full, like I think they're 20-gallon buckets. And we had them propped up in the back of our instructor's pickup truck. And one of them tipped over. And somebody called the cops because it had a cover. You couldn't see inside. And there was just blood like dripping out of the back of this truck in the parking lot of a church because that's where we had our meetings. And we stayed late because we were talking about like what we were gonna do the next day and like who was gonna do what makeup, and walked outside and there's like 5 cops just like staring at us and we're like, oh god. It's made of cornstarch and food coloring. It's edible. They didn't think that there was actually a dead person, but they were trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. Because, like, you know, it doesn't smell like blood. It smells like food coloring. So, like, if you've been around actual blood, like, once before, you'd figure out pretty quick it's not people blood, but... one of the most awkward moments of my life, though. I will tell you. We'll tell you that. Did not steal all of Jesus Christ's blood. Yes. Well, yeah. It was some very confused cops. I think we're almost through this aquifer. Hallelujah. Speaking of crime scenes. Gotta add in some iron or something. I'm not trying to go to prison. I do feel bad for whoever walked past who called them. Also, all of the RC car missions or RC helicopter missions in Grand Theft Auto were terrible. I agree, YouTube chat. Especially that remote control helicopter mission in Vice City. That was awful. Well, if it was real blood, we may have had a problem, but thankfully it wasn't. So, yeah, obviously we wouldn't go to prison for fake blood, but, like, someone sees a bunch of blood gushing out of the back of a pickup truck in a part of town that, like, I'm not going to say it was a bad part of town, but it is, like, the sort of part of town where people, like, might fuck around with wild animals they find dead on the side of the road, or, like, you know, it's the sort of place where, like, finding a dead deer somewhere it shouldn't be is, like, not too out of place, and, like... while that's not the worst crime you could commit, it's still, like, something that happened frequently enough that it doesn't necessarily need to be people blood. And wouldn't be too strange for it to not be people blood. I can just build on top of this and not worry about digging through it because it's not an aquifer. Hallelujah. This is a weird conversation. I live in Canada, Finian. I mean, where I live right now, there's so many deer in town that it's weird for me to go for a walk after the hours of like 8 o'clock at night and not see half a dozen deer. So I don't even think you need to be out of town here. Also, Salty wants you to post some beers. But where I grew up, very similar. Well, okay, so you're not legally allowed to hunt within a city? Fryball, I don't go hunting, but, like, this is just a fact. Like, you can't walk into a public park in the middle of a downtown area where there happens to be a deer standing and shoot it, or hit it with your truck and eat it. I mean, obviously hunting people is illegal, but like, there's many ways to go hunting that's also illegal. Like, even if you just do it at the wrong time of year without like permission, like that's also illegal. What if you wrestle? So there was a very brief period of time. I didn't witness this, thankfully. There was a very brief period of time where there was a clause that accidentally made hunting geese in public parks legal. Blaine, this happened like sometime in 2020. Time is messed up. During the pandemic. It could have been 2021. But there was like a solid 72 hours there where you could legally hunt geese in public parks here. And it was very quickly put to an end within like 2 days because there was a guy just going around breaking geese's necks. Cause like they're pretty brazen. Like if you try and attack a goose, like they'll fight back. And the guy was just like walking up to geese and strangling them. So does that answer your question? He went to prison. Or at the very least had to. I remember seeing a thing in the news about him like going to court. So I presume he had to pay a fine at least, I hope. American geese are demonic beasts. You're Canadian and you should know better. Twizzler Online. Careful now. Canadian geese are lovely. They apologize. They don't honk at you. Although I genuinely, jokes aside, have this conspiracy theory that people who have children or dogs think that geese are monsters, and people that don't are like, nah, geese are fine. I have a question. Have you ever seen a duck's penis? You'll disagree if you've seen one. Or actually, technically a mallard's penis, but you'll disagree if you've seen one. You don't have either? Well, then you've just fallen to propaganda. Goose strangler, yeah. Looks like a torture device? Yep. Do not Google that. Diamond Destruct. Do not Google that. Interesting combo to return to. It's perfectly normal for here. I'm digging a stairwell. There ain't much going on, okay? Yeah, I don't know. Having literally laid down in a park surrounded by geese, my only real concern was the fact that I was surrounded by goose poop when I woke up from that nap, which I was out drinking at an area that's close to a park that's often full of geese, and this was a couple of years ago, and just happened to wake up completely surrounded by a flock of geese, and yeah, they were chill. Oh, I just kind of stood up and walked away. You know, I wish I had simple nightmares like yours. Because if that's genuinely your worst nightmare, Twizzler, life must be pretty good for you. You must have, like, no PTSD or, like, childhood trauma or, like, any kind of horrific events in your life. Because if being surrounded by a flock of geese is your worst nightmare, whew, I'm jealous. Can I have your life? Because that sounds, like, pretty great. Or at least, like, your mental state. You're really good at compartmentalizing. Okay, fair. I'll give you that one. Had me wondering for a second there. Because, like, worst nightmare, really? I don't know. I could think of a handful of things that, like, would be significantly worse than, you know, being surrounded by a flock of geese. I mean, I'm joking, mate. If you think of being truly serious, yeah. Yeah, my aunt works as a corrections educator. So she works in a maximum security prison as a school teacher. And yeah, I wouldn't wish that career on anybody. Geese are lovely individuals, and you just don't understand them. It's not the goose's fault that you invade its private space and yell at its children and tell it to go away. When the geese have been longer here than us. That sentence didn't. The geese have been here longer than us, and we don't have the right to remove them from their land. Oi! Salty! I'll fight you. I stan geese, I suppose. I mean, I've seen geese be mean to people, Red Fogel, but it's like, it's almost exclusively like people with large dogs or small children. And honestly, I too am terrified of people with small children. So I relate to the geese on like a spiritual level in that regard. I understand the geese. Okay, let's just keep doing this. No one ever gets attacked by an angry swan. You know, the only time I've ever seen swans, like, in all seriousness, the only time I've ever seen swans is at a very, very far distance and they've been in water. Like, nowhere near people. It's kind of like, it's pretty rare to see, like, a duck on land. I've never seen a swan, like, in the middle of a field. I've absolutely seen, like, migrating geese in the middle of fields more times than I can count. I've never seen a swan in the middle of a field. Blind as a V. Avatar for a goose. Playing the long haul. Oh, that's funny. I'm actually just 18 geese in a VTuber trench coat. I'm sorry, you've discovered me. Don't ask me how I'm using this keyboard right now. It requires a lot of talent. I'm okay with being pro-goose propaganda. I will fight for the geese. The geese did nothing wrong. People are stupid. This is my platform. Nest on the shoreline very often in bushes if you go fishing. Oh, true. I don't go fishing, so maybe that would be why I've never run into them in that way. I'll say this. Everybody here is going on about, like, you know, being scared of geese, but I guess nobody here has been attacked by a hummingbird before. I thought it was going to take my eye out. Those things are brazen. I have, in fact, been attacked by a hummingbirds, plural, because it's happened twice. I got attacked by a hummingbird because it was nesting close to where I was playing as a little kid, and I got attacked by a hummingbird while hiking. Also got dive bombed by a crow once, and I will forever defend crows. I love crows. Crows are wonderful. I don't know what some human did to that crow, but it probably was worse than whatever that crow tried to do to me. Hummingbirds are insanely violent. Have you seen them fight each other? I don't think I've seen them fight each other, although I don't think I've maybe paid that much attention to them in that regard. But like I said, it knocked my glasses off. It, like, went for the eyes. Like, I've seen them attack cats too, which is stupid instead of brave. I don't know. It's not usually a fight that you really think a bird would win. Although I am just going to go down here real quick. Just get rid of these. I don't think that human eyeballs have sugar in them and they eat sugar, so I kind of disagree with that hypothesis. I could ask my mom about this subject. She is an expert on hummingbirds. I have a feeling that you are lying about what hummingbirds enjoy, or simply doing a very common human thing of projecting. So presuming that things that you enjoy are things that other things enjoy. So why do you like eyeball juice? Why are you eating eyeballs? I mean, hey, you know, honestly, if it's like a religious thing or a cultural thing, I can't judge. As long as you got those eyeballs from a consenting donor. It's the texture for you? Right. Did you know that you can simulate those with grapes? Just simply peel them first. We are up to 10 beasts. Nestor in YouTube chat. I'll probably put it in the title next week. As the number grows. Oh, God. Sorry, I'm about to throw up. That's too far. Miscreant, you win. I give. I cave. Ugh. Blech. Yucky. Shoutouts to Treasure Planet when the eyeball comes out of the soup. Shit, you gotta go. It's pretty late where you're at, Diamond. By the way, folks in Europe, has daylight savings hit? Because I kind of missed daylight savings. I kind of just got sick, so like it didn't matter. Although maybe I got sick because of daylight savings. This makes sense. Not yet? Okay. When is your guys' daylight savings? It's gotta be coming up, right? I also apologize for the stream being absurdly off topic today. This kind of happens when, like, I'm not doing anything particularly interesting and it's just kind of a mega project. It's like, you know, we're digging a tunnel, so I gotta flex my stand-up comedy routines. And by that I mean making bad puns based on nonsense chat puts into this into the chat. You know, I was kind of hoping that, like, alongside of the one good thing that the American president has decided to do, which is get rid of the penny, I was kind of hoping he'd also just, like, abolish daylight savings, which would force Canada to comply. Because honestly, if he could do us a favor here in North America, it would just be get fucking rid of daylight savings. But I don't think that's actually going to happen. Like, getting rid of the penny, trust me, to anybody who's, like, upset about that, like, you'll appreciate it in time. It's great. Pennies are the worst. You don't need them. They are stupid. I'm very happy Canada got rid of those a while ago. It's the best thing we ever did. But just tell him that it's DEI. He'll get rid of it. All right, enough of my political jokes for the next 90 minutes. I've hit my quota. The amount of code that would need rewriting, it's okay. ChatGPT will fix it, or Claude, or one of those. The worst part about going to the States, unironically, is coming home with pennies, Fryball. Looney and the Toonie can stay. We wouldn't be Canada without it. Has he actually gotten rid of it? Shy Pandemonium? Or, because, like, I know that the order was signed, but, like, has that actually, like, gone into effect? You don't want the nickel? I need those to pay for my buses with exact change still, so, April 1st we can get rid of the nickel. Nah, that's kind of what I thought. Saying and doing are two different things. Also, can we just, like, increase our taxes here in Canada and just have free bus service? Okay, thanks. Sincerely, guy who rides the bus. If Pax Mac, thanks for the 26th month. Welcome back. Welcome to Blind Shitty Comedy Hour while I dig and make a stairwell. What should we call the $5 coin? A fivey? A fiver. That's an original statement that nobody's said before. Nobody's ever used the word fiver for anything. I don't think that's like taken, so. You returned from supper? I hope it was a good supper. Write that down. Yeah. A five Rooney? Five Rooney. Trying to think like what's a word for like a relative that's similar-ish to fiver. You Brits use Fiverr. It's also like a company. I'm well aware. You have buses? Transit? Yeah. You know what's crazy, Fryball? Where I live right now, there's currently construction happening outside of my apartment. Well, not right now, because it's after 4. They're done by 4. They work 8 to 4. But there's construction happening and road work happening outside of my apartment because they are getting rid of a lane on either side of the road and replacing it with bike lanes. So, here to make you jealous, courtesy of a Canadian. And that's why I moved here. Is because they're doing that. Why don't we call it a George Clooney? The Fiver. You have no sidewalking spots? That's horrible. I'm so sorry. Jokes aside. I personally think that like just about anybody who ends up running a city or a town or working in any kind of low-level government like that, like should by law be forced to read the Strong Towns Approach books, because my God. I think since we're through the aquifer, I can speed up the construction of this now. Especially in winter. Oof. Yeah, I kind of grew up in an area like that, but it's improved a bit. And then the city that I lived in previously was very much in that way up until relatively recently, where it's been improving, but it's still not great. At the very least, the bus service where I used to live was pretty good, but although TransLink might get gutted soon because they're not getting enough provincial funding. And it's like, they're like, you're not making money. It's like, it's public transit. It's a service. It's not supposed to make money. So they may be cutting half the bus service, so we'll see. Thankfully, I'm on BC Transit where I live now, so that won't affect me, but it highly depends on where you are in Canada. Like some, like it's they're either like urban hellscapes, i.e. American design, or it's like weirdly European, and it highly depends on where you are. It's all over the place, Canadian city design. At least US cities are consistently terrible. So are plenty of Canadian cities. In regards to being built for cars. The city I live in is an outlier, and I moved here specifically because I can live anywhere as long as, like, there's internet within reason. So I, like, have the luxury, and it is a luxury, of being able to kind of choose where I want to live based on, like, what the city is doing and how it operates and what the city's priorities are. So, like, I am well aware that that's a luxury that not many people get. The mayor's been reelected. Speaking of mayors. All suburbs are made for cars. Like, that's just kind of a fact. That's what a suburb is. Oh shit! The Axe Lord, Moral, Doran Gooden, the Spearmaster, and Cole Onulium have married. Look at that. How adorable. And neither of them even have a bedroom. Well, you do. I guess you two can share now. That's adorable. Chat, can I get, I don't know, a round of beers or something for the happy couple? Sure, they'll get plenty anyway, but... somebody in YouTube chat post a beer. I know that some of you just did for unrelated reasons, but next person to post a beer gets a dwarf, courtesy of Zalvi here in Twitch chat. By the way, do I say your name wrong, Zalvi? I'm convinced I do. I've probably said this before, but... Hilmar, what kind of dwarf would you like? And Nestor, I'm going to give you one just because you preemptively posted one, and I'll give you credit for that. So that's 2. Would you like dwarves with beards or without beards? No, this is from surface to cavern layer 1. The problem is it's going through an aquifer, so it takes forever to dig out an aquifer and stop it from leaking in a format like this. It's like being just far enough away on the bar, on the opposite side of the bar too, Twizzler, that like you have to shout and like they kind of don't hear you, but you know approximately what they're saying. Okay, so 2 happy dwarfs with beards coming up. Or coming down the mine chat? I don't know. First one is going to be Hilmar, because that's why I said first. Hilmar is swayed by emotional appeals and likes to present himself boldly, even if it would offend the average sense of smacking my microphone, of modesty. He does not often feel envious of others, is rarely happy or enthusiastic, and is conflicted by this because he's conflicted by this as he values parties and merrymaking in the abstract. He isn't particularly ambitious. He tries to do things correctly each time. He is a friendly individual, and he tends to assume that the worst of 2 outcomes will be the one that comes to pass. He clicks his tongue occasionally when he's bored, and he always points at others when greeting them. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and likes working outdoors and only grumbles mildly at bad weather, and doesn't really care about anything anymore. He dreams of creating a great work of art, personally strongly values tranquility and quiet, and values nature and sees guile and cunning as indirect and somewhat worthless. Likes native platinum, bronze, and blue garnet, as well as pearwood and the sound of the euphoric butterfly, and the sight of the meandering lyrics of Impossible prefers to consume giant chameleon and thornback ray, and pomegranate wine and papayas, and absolutely hates slugs. He is, oh, I completely misread something. He has a broad body and he is very fat. He's got 4 friends in the fort and is a member of the denomination of Inks, worshipping Burr. So that's a very uncommon denomination for that religion because I've never seen that one before. And the next dwarf here, dwarf with a beard. Nestor the Brewer lacks confidence in his abilities and can be very happy and optimistic, often feels envious of others, and holy shit balls in a cannon. Phineas, thanks for the 50 pack. Holy shit, man. Wow. Thank you. Very much. My God. Hey, Twitch chat and YouTube chat. Can you hit the, YouTube chat. Nestor slept with my wife. Can I get a round of beers for the 50-pack of gift subs? Holy shit, man. I'm gonna have to go buy a beer tonight. I don't have any beer in my house right now. I might have to go buy me a beer tonight. He is not particularly interested in what others think of him, and he is quite comfortable with others that have a different appearance or culture. He has an active sense of humor and likes to keep things practical without delving too deeply into the abstract. He tends to avoid crowds and does not easily hate or develop negative feelings, can handle stress, and is quite ambitious. And he is very humble and sometimes can act without deliberation. He inhales sharply when he's angry, and he doesn't really care about anything anymore. Twizzler, good news. You're still #1 gift subber of the month by 1. But holy shit. Not finding any regulations about the penny in the Federal Register, which contains everything about U.S. regulation. I'd expect there to be it to be there. The U.S. Mint also hasn't provided an end date for the penny on its website, so you're guessing it's still going. Well, rip. He personally values hard work and doesn't really value merrymaking and dreams of creating a great work of art. He likes silver and red flash opal, as well as persimmon wood and river otter leather, and kestrel bone and four-sided prisms, shields, backpacks, and animal traps, and yaks for their shaggy hair, onion plants for their bulbs, and the words of the fortuitous pregnancy, and the sound of the euphoric butterfly, and when possible prefers to consume reindeer cheese and carrot wine, and absolutely hates bark scorpions. But thank you very much. Summoning you from your lurk. Hi, Rawl. What's up, dude? Hey, mods, can I get a shout out for Rawl, please? Good lord. You have really, really, really good dodge stats, Kestrel. Did you know that? It's a compliment. Congrats. Sus indeed. That emote is so underused. Like, genuinely, Crypt Sus is one of my best emotes, and it's, like, one of my least used. You are married, and you do have a daughter. You're married to Errol, the brewer. You're also a brewer. I guess you guys spend a lot of time together. Use it all the time. It's great. Hell yeah. I think, like, undulates and beer, obviously, and what's the other one? Crypt Wambler are my most used off-stream ones. I should probably slaughter some of these. In case I didn't have enough food already. It's a lot of sheep. Those are actually alpacas, I think, not sheep. But I also have a lot of sheep. Uh-oh. Dwarf, are you stuck up here? I think you are. Oops. Well, it's kind of convenient for me, maybe not so much for you there, Dwarf. You may want to move. Okay, fine. If you insist. Okay, just mild injury. His ability to grasp is somewhat impaired. His right hand is mangled. I think he's fine. He should be fine. Nobody died. That is filing your taxes. Oh, you too. I get to do that on Saturday. Although I do get to be cool and fly a plane to go file my taxes because I figured out that traveling to fly your taxes is considered a tax deduction, and I found a $70 flight from here to where my tax lady is via a float plane, so I'm going to go do that. which, I don't know. I'm sure there's a way people could use that to make fun of me. I'm not sure how exactly, but I'm sure you guys can figure something out. You're smart. Float planes are pretty cool. I will say that much. But I'm not going to fly back because all the flights back are like 3 times the price. I've been spicy as fuck. I mean, they usually cancel them if it's going to be spicy as fuck. Tax maxing? Is that like text maxing? Man, what happened to all the Forgotten Beasts? Something in a gap. So, Dave the Wizard of Cheese. I have a question. Do you have any relation to Dave Danger the Warlock? Because if not, you're the second, like, wizard surprise themed Dave I know. Anyway, thank you very much for the tier 1 subscription. Appreciate you. You do not? Okay, fair. Regardless, thank you very much. Well, thanks for being around enough to get gifted a sub. Boo. It's kind of like having a dwarf named after you, Hilmar, in YouTube chat is kind of like having your palm read. They're very much personality approximations, so they can end up being eerily accurate. Okay, so let's try this. It's a fun color of block I have that I have a bunch of. It's like I really want to use like the Cinnabar or something, but I don't have much of it. I think I'll hold off right now. Like dwarf horoscopes? Sure, yeah, sort of. Well, as long as they're not ex-air farce, because that you'd have to be pretty bad to be kicked out of the air farce. I'm too comfortable with the limits of the plane sometimes. It's just... My favorite random float plane thing is the float planes they use here are called Twin Otters. And pilot guy who's a regular around these parts informed me once that pilots refer to them as twatters, which I appreciate that for some reason. I don't know why. I like the sense of humor, I guess. How deep do we plan to make this passage? We're almost at the bottom, so I've done... Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is the layer I'm on, and we need to do 12, 13, 14, 15. We're almost there. You love the system and it's so cool. It's often hilarious how DF is 100% your favorite. Yeah. I really like the way it does its personality descriptions. They are very good. Well, I mean, I've kind of glass floored so many of them, I kind of have to commit, you know? Like, if I don't do the rest of them, then I'm kind of betraying myself, I guess. Although I need to go through here, and then I need to do this one, but this one I think I'll just pave and not do the full clearing. But we have cheese for everyone. Dave, I mean...
Cheese for everyone!
See? You know, I'm just going to do this. Just going to make a little stockpile for green glass. Should have done this a while ago. This would have sped this process up quite considerably. I mean, the dwarves still need to run back and forth and do the whole thing, but... Oh, this is a large part of the reason why this is taking so long, is because I have shit tons of animals getting slaughtered right now, so that's where most of the dwarves are. Is slaughtering random animals. We already completed the first one, Jacob V, and now we're trying to, you know, capture enough forgotten beasts to use them to take over the underworld, but we've got a ways to go before we get to that point. I also need more of them to show up, which isn't really happening, which is kind of concerning. Yeah, that's why I have so much glass is from the sand in the caverns, because right over here, I have a pretty active glass industry just making, you know, glass blocks. As you can see, we've got tons. Although it's a very ugly forge, I can make it look a lot nicer. It's just one thing at a time. Really feels like they're taking their sweet-ass time on this. The staircase? If your pizza's green, you probably shouldn't eat that pizza. It gets you through so much faster. Just answered 15 tricks as a software support engineer in like 15 minutes. Well, or in like 40 minutes? Is that fast? I presume so. Well, congratulations on the quickie ticket response. There's a mod, Jacob V, on the that people have been talking about recently, which is uniform cavern moss, which basically just makes all the caverns like the cavern moss the same color. I kind of hate it. Or the cavern moss layers the same color, and like I like the chaos of the caverns. It's what gives them their charm, in my opinion. I mean, there still should be something on top of said pesto. But yeah, I guess now that you put it that way, I have had like spinach on pizza and stuff. That stuff's closer to a flatbread though. Not saying that a flatbread ain't good. I do like me a flatbread, but it's not quite the same as a traditional pizza, you know what I'm saying? How are we doing on the green glass? 163, nice. Pesto pizza isn't really pizza, though. You know, more people should watch Italy versus Olive Garden, which was Eddie Burbach's excuse to write off a trip to Italy as a YouTube video. You should watch that video. He has a really good theory about what is and what really isn't Italian food, and what is and isn't pizza. I really like that video. More accurately, I just like Eddie Burbach's videos, but that's a particularly good video. And I'll just say, if you're sitting there saying this is or isn't pizza, it says more about you than whether or not it is or isn't pizza. Quad is truly a sick, disgusting game. I love it. That being said, Japan, please stop putting anchovies and corn on pizza together. Not because it isn't pizza, it's just because I don't like it. Because I want to love your pizza too, but like, I just don't want to eat that combination of flavors. Thanks. Sincerely, guy who's not from Japan, who doesn't matter to Japan. Oh no, really? We should disarm him. That's terrifying. Pineapple on pizza is delicious. And if you disagree, that's fine. More for me. I mean, my opinions on mayo are pretty well known. I'm totally fine with corn on pizza, though, Tekken. It's specifically corn and anchovies together that I'm not super fond of. I've had it before. It's okay. It's just... Eh. I mean, I can tell you it's cheesy fries if it doesn't have cheese curds on it. Like, if you're making a poutine and it doesn't have, like, cheese curds on it, you're missing one of the key ingredients of poutine. And a lot of poutine doesn't have cheese curds on it. So I would say that isn't really a poutine. But it certainly, like, doesn't matter. You know? Like, if I go to a restaurant and I buy something that says it's poutine and it comes with cheesy fries, that's just a shitty restaurant and not, you know, still, sure, it's still poutine. It's just... Is there another kind of anchovy? George? You dislike squeaky cheese curds? That's fine. More for me. That's a you problem. You can have something that isn't poutine all you want. It's not poutine, though. It's just like Binding of Isaac isn't a roguelike. Now that we're cooking with magnets, I should probably jump away from the sensitive topics. The good news is we're almost done with this spiral staircase, so I can get somewhat more back on topic-ish. That sounds delicious. Door and blade. I don't know if this has anything to do with the current discussion, but I will say, when it comes to pizza, I really don't like pizzas that have, like, mostly just meat. Like, meat lovers, pizzas are kind of gross. Like, genuinely, it's like, hey, yay, fat carbs, fat and salt and fat and carbs. Can we like put like a different variety of salt delivery fat device on that, please? Like, can we get like an olive maybe? Or like a tomato? Or like, I don't know. Fuck it. I'll take like a butter chicken. As long as it's like, as long as there's more than just like pepperoni, sausage, and ham on. Like, I'll even take just like a pepperoni. But like, when it's pepperoni, sausage, bacon, steak, just fuck off. Yeah, give me a jalapeno. Like, give me something, you know? Like, if I wanted a butter and fat delivery mechanism, I would have just ordered snails. Do I like honey on pizza? I've never had honey on pizza, so I couldn't speak to it, but I'd be willing to try almost anything on pizza once, even though it tries to kill me, and I regret it, and it's like the equivalent of self-harm for me. But I would try it. Who puts honey on pizza? A Nutella and banana one? That's just someone trolling. They're making circular breakfast. That's all it is. I think your friend is a troll. That's like me putting ice cream into the microwave and telling you it's a soup. That's not a soup. That's just like I put ice cream in a microwave. I'm just a bad person. I think your friend is a bad person. It's not heretical. Your friend is just a bad friend. Bees. You know, honestly, I believe that if bees opened up a pizza place, they would put honey on their pizza. I do agree with this take. Now you want pizza? Go get pizza. Life is fleeting and doesn't matter and exists on a floating ball of space rock. Like, go get yourself a pizza. Enjoy yourself. Speaking of unrelated things, Journey the farmer has created a green glass goblet and offers it to the head cave of collaborating. A green glass goblet. Oh, and you're hauling it. Are you immediately going to go get a drink with it? Wow. I don't think I've ever seen a dwarf do that. This is a green glass goblet. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of tapered, baguette-cut green glass gems, cushion native gold, cabochons, and rose-cut chrysoprases. This object menaces with spikes of green glass, fungi wood, and tower cap, and llama leather. It's got to have like a beer cozy on it for the leather. And yak leather. On the item is an image of a hagfish, and however you pronounce that gem. I don't think I've ever seen a dwarf make an artifact and then immediately use the artifact. But you didn't make it. But your dwarf is welcome to use it, because it'll just end up in the tavern. So, didn't feel anything due to inebriation. Well, at least you mastered glassmaking. There's so much random blood right there, holy shit. Honey on pizza, there's a recipe that works for that, no joke. Blue Apron, why? This is a Blue Apron ad. Why are you, like, just say meal delivery service. Anyway. Once sent as a recipe for a flatbread pizza with honey and ricotta as the base. Oh, okay, no, I could see that, actually. You know, that would work with ricotta. Don't be free marketing for services. Sheesh. Make them pay you at the very least. Sorry, I have to now talk shit about HelloFresh. Are you aware of the amount of trash that HelloFresh creates? Like, holy shit. Drives me insane. I thought you were a lobbyist for Big Cheese, man. Come on. Pick a gimmick and stick with it. Or have you, like, turned on Big Cheese for not being, like, Wizardly in Hey, you know, honestly, support your local business, Zalvi. I respect it. This is, well, you're called the Wizard of Cheese, though, not the Wizard of Geometry. Having worked with real Italians, not American Italians, an Italian pizzeria, the joke is Italians don't even think other Italian pizza's pizza. I think that the joke is Italians are just very... How do I say this without being, like, extremely rude to a lot of people? Can I say neurotic and not get shot by chat? Like... Yeah, I mean, they're very Italian, sure. Like, self-centered? Proud. They're very proud people. How's that? Can I say that? Like, the only real pizza is the pizza that I made 40 minutes ago kind of people. Anyway. It's just like everybody thinks that they make the best bagels. It's like, no, you don't. The best bagel's the one that I ate yesterday. But the Axe Dwarf Kogun and the Marks Dwarf Flame Thief have married. We got 2 weddings. What happens when you lock your dwarves inside for a while? Feels tender, love, and dejection after wearing old clothing. I mean, oh no. Kogan wants a new dress. I'm not making dresses. You don't think you've ever had a marriage? I specifically have pop-up sets so that I notice them. They're kind of easy to miss. But they do make that sound effect. It's the second one we've had. You know, my default, when it comes to me throwing shade at Italians, my default thing that I was going to say is that they're very French, but I was like, I think I might get murdered if I say that. Because my brain's same thing. But saying, like, the Italians are very French is, like, probably breaking some international law. So I probably shouldn't say that. They know where I live? No, they don't. Well, at least not all of them do. The French are Italians. See Julius Caesar in the Gaelic Wars. The history buff showing up and proving everybody wrong. Canada, true. True. If it works for world leaders, it'll work for the French. Today's been a fun stream. Thanks for the jokes, Chad. Certainly not the busiest stream I've done this month, but this has been a fun stream. You know, the second... Okay, so I tabbed over to YouTube chat, or to the YouTube dashboard, just kind of like out of reflex habit. Tabbed back to the game and then back to it. Wallace saying that the Italians are very French. And I just tabbed back and somebody disliked the stream in that time. I deserve that one. Well, we found the French person in the chat. I don't think I slept enough last night. Okay, how are we doing? Getting there. Or the Italian, yeah, word. Poking the bear. I'm very familiar with poking bears. I know it's a bad idea and you shouldn't do it. I live in Canada for context. My God. French Canadians won't mind. No, the French Canadians will just like sigh and say something along the lines of typical and then pretend to not speak English when I'm asking for directions, which is, you know, what happens every time I go to Quebec. Unless they're the students that work in the coffee shop or who just look at me like, oh, thank God, I don't need to speak French. Unless you're in the wealthy side of town, in which case then it's, oh, you don't speak French? In which case, here's the English menu and you don't get service. Come to the counter to ask. Which has been my experience every time I go to Verdun in Montreal. Must be a World of Warcraft guild with a bunch of French Canadians. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's plenty of French Canadians in this chat. I really like Quebec. Quebec's great. Yeah, you have the power of just like switching to Spanish almost. So when you're in Quebec, you have this like superpower advantage where you can just be like, I don't even speak English. But you know, or just like somehow fake your way into speaking French and like completely bewilder me while I'm way too stoned. This is not like based on things that have actually happened in the past or anything. I'm just making all this up. Yeah, I know. I'm not stupid, Raging Cave. Sheesh. You love telling that story? It's a pretty good story, admittedly. Yeah, he's in the chat. What do you have to say to him? What was that? It's all about picking your battles, Raging Cave. Could also probably just do this. I love how I'm just like screwing this up in different ways each time. We're getting there. You need to get some sleep. You snooze good, dude. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in order to enjoy my streams at this point in my streaming career, you kind of need to have a healthy dose of self-awareness and the ability to understand some dry-ass fucking sarcasm. And if you can, then we good. Guess I'm not spinning cloth. I love how that blood streak is still there. Like, they just haven't had a chance to clean it up yet. The streak really pulls the room together. I mean, it's a nice look for the floor. The thing that, like, I kind of hope that one day we get covered is back in the day, like in ASCII, these walls, you can see the blood contamination on the walls. I kind of hope we get to that point with like Fortress mode at some point with the graphics on, where you can see like not just the random streaks of blood, but also like the contamination on the walls. Like this wall is just covered in blood. Like just covered in blood. What's up, open world addict? If it's not even enough code, is it technically paint? It's a very strange format of interior decorating, but hey, you know, if it works, if it holds the room together, if it looks nice, roll with it. The old tile sets were a lot simpler than the current tile sets, though. Like, it was more of just like a one-to-one representation of ASCII in a lot of cases. With some, like, exceptions, but... Dwarves don't seem to be bothered by mess. If they were, we'd have a hard time. It's a good thing they're not disturbed by that kind of mess, because, like, oh boy. That would be a lot. It's looking like a flat of a male living alone. I'm a male living alone, and I'll have you know my place is frickin' spotless. Like, my place is ridiculously clean. Because I'm a maniac, I guess, but... I'm not sure that's how exceptions work, but okay. Dwarf Fortress is, like, unexpectedly gruesome, which is why I think people talk about it as being so violent, Hilmar, in YouTube chat. Yeah, and German sayings, as somebody with a lot of German heritage, are often angry, bitter, and blaming others for their problems. Mostly angry and bitter, though. So, checks out. And also, like, enjoying the suffering of people that they're blaming for their problems. You're German and you've not smiled to date. That is false. I refuse to believe that. Although I'll have you know that my Oma taught me how to smuggle candies effectively, so she taught me many great life skills. You two will leave another dislike? Yeah. It's fine. I'll survive. And I'm apologetic, definitely. Yes. That's what the Canadian in the room is, right? Apologetic? Absolutely. Definitely. A very small portion of Canada is French. That's like saying everybody in Europe is French. So, as somebody who has... I didn't even take... I literally don't speak a word of French. And I've lived in Canada my whole life. Not exactly an accurate statement. I thought you were German. How do you know what Americans say? Tell me what they say in Brussels and I might believe you. Most of Canada doesn't do milk in bags. It's a very small, specific part of Canada that does that. In European trains? Oh, well. I have a question. Based on the average lying amount of American leadership, why would you believe what randos on trains say about Canada? A country that they're clearly not from. Also, isn't there more French-speaking people in the US than there is in Canada? I need to actually look at like population counts, but I'd be willing to bet that's the case. Because like jokes aside here for a second, there's a lot of parts of the US that have a lot of French-speaking people. As my friend Kevin says, Twizzler, he's given up on microplastics and has just accepted that he's now mostly made of macroplastics. None. El Macondo. I don't know what that is. Can I say? There could theoretically be more Canadians in the US than in Canada. Maybe not these days. Compared to 10 million Canadians? Okay, well. Here I was giving America credit for being more French than Canada, and I guess I failed horribly. Although, is that like presuming that everybody who took French in high school remembers it? Because I can say most people who take French don't remember. A smear of human pus? How the fuck did that get there? Ew. I have no idea what Red 40 is, so. Yeah, it's very much an Eastern Canada thing as far as bagged milk goes. And I wouldn't trust them either because, I mean, they elect Doug Ford. Well, okay. We've been attacked by humans, and we've killed them all. So one of them must have just been hit by a minecart or something, and was just, like, getting infected on the way out and just bleeding or some other grim reality. But yeah, I have no idea what Red 40 is. If it's anything like Colt 45, then no, because we've got that, but I'm presuming it's a different thing. Yeah, you're probably gonna, yeah, it's like I have a planned trip to the States right now, Amber, that I'm very much considering just straight up not going on. I also might skip PAX for the first time in a very long time, even though PAX is like a stone's throw distance from where I'm at. Like literally I could take a ferry and be there in 2 hours. As an American, help? I'm afraid I can't, mate. But I'm sorry. That's the Canadian showing. Red 40 is food coloring that's bad for you, apparently. Oh, alright, well. I can say Canada's food quality, at least when it comes to like corporate food, is generally way better than the US, but there's exceptions to every rule, so who knows? I've just never heard of it before. So, do with that what you will. Tolas, hello, how are you? I'm taking a very long time to build a really boring staircase. But it'll look awesome when it's done. I swear. And it's almost done. You're a government employee, so that's fun. My condolences? I hope the salary is decent for the time being. You don't believe me? Why that? Isn't that just purple? Like the color purple or something, Red Fogel? I thought that was dye, not food coloring. My stuff isn't boring? Well, the gameplay's been pretty boring for the last 4 hours. I've literally just been building a stair. Well, a ramp, I guess. But how else is 50 going to hit the big-ass ramp if I don't build it, so... Wagons is the reason for them. Or because I feel like building something that isn't stairs. In this case, I'm doing it specifically so that I can get wagons into the fort. I did this so that it would stop flooding. Why would I want to flood it? Most of this is an aquifer. So I did this so that it would stop flooding. Why would I flood it? Well, thank you, Red Fogel. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't trust US water because water quality seems to vary way too much. I have not drank anything but tap water my entire life where I live. So, without a filter, like, you just don't need it. Which honestly is something I kind of take for granted. Like, just the quality of the water we have here. I shouldn't? Don't tell me how to live my life? Like, I live in the Greater Vancouver area, or lived in the Greater Vancouver area of British Columbia, Canada for my entire life, and now I live in Victoria, BC. We have some of the best water in the world. Yeah, no, I will drink tap water for the rest of my life. At least while I live here. Well, thankfully, I don't live in Flint. Oh, unless you're just saying that I shouldn't when I go to the States, which is true. Although usually when I go to the States, I don't drink much other than beer, so maybe I should, like, really question my life choices. Ah, okay. A warning about your water from a local water plant in your apartment complex and said, oh, it's okay. They send that to everyone. They send that to everyone. I don't understand what that means. Sorry, my Canadian is not allowing me to compute the Americanness of that sentence. Wagons need 3x3. I need 4x3 to stay sane. For corners, they usually end up needing one more block, though. You must have some pretty fucked up pipes if that's the case. It still kind of is, Lanix. I clarified in the email that everyone where I lived has lead pipes and everyone gets warnings about heavy metals in water. You know, thankfully, I like heavy metal, so I'll just turn the speakers up and not worry about it. Besides, I already drink all of my beer out of a lead pewter mug, so, like, you know. Just overcompensate. It's fine. Just give your body that natural immunity. Don't actually do that, please. I'm joking. I do own a lead pewter mug, though. I would never drink out of it. It's like a wall ornament. A family heirloom, as they say. A lead cadmium Garfield mug. Huh. Wow. Okay. I mean those lead pewter mugs that my family owns are neat because like they came from Ireland when my grandma came over to Canada. So they are quite literally family heirlooms because they came out of the bar that my grandmother used to go to before coming to Canada. So they are actually legitimate family heirlooms. No, you can't. Lead poisoning isn't a thing that's a concern in Dwarf Fortress. Thank fucking God. Because that would be a nightmare to deal with. Speaking of nightmares to deal with, the Forgotten Beast, Rusmo, has come. This is the second Rusmo. A great one-eyed lobster. It has large mandibles, and it appears to be emaciated. It's deadly. Beware its deadly spit. Okay. Yes, we need to catch it. Thing number one. Thing number two. Oopsies. Did I actually finish making this? Yes. Yes. Okay. So. Let's locketh the dwarfeth in the fortress. And go to here. Go here. Open this. I don't see any dwarves. Let's hope that that's correct. Rusmo. This beastie McGeastie has killed a bunch of beak dogs and a Monera in Muscle Bad. What do we got against Arnold Schwarzenegger? Huh. That's kind of wild. Ozanthium? Hey, I love it when a plan comes together. What do you got against Aquaman? I read that. I don't trust that I don't trust a watermancer is what I read that as, but I think I misread it. So my joke kind of doesn't land, but that's fine. You here, go this, that, pull this. A lottie coming. At least you're close. Uh-oh. Whew. That could have been bad. No. No, 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 bad. You don't get to leave. Goddamn. Shit. Come back. You know you wanna. Tee-hee. Got him. Excellent. They're forgotten beasts, not brainiacs, okay? That was almost hilarious. I mean, we saved it. Barely. Barely. I'm kind of amazed that that's the first Forgotten Beast in a while where nobody's died. We're finally getting good at this. Also, what do you mean almost hilarious? Are you saying that my hilarious jokes don't land? Gosh. Probably forgot something and went back for it. Oh yeah, no, it left its keys on the counter. I don't blame that beast at all, really. Sometimes they're goats, sometimes they're guinea pigs, sometimes they're guinea hens, sometimes they're something else. It really depends on what I tend to click on, what I happen to click on first whilst going through these. But yeah, a lot of the times they're goats. Because I just happen to have a lot of goats, it turns out. It is very Jurassic Parky though. Should rewatch that first Jurassic Park. I'm kind of like, Jurassic Park is one of those franchises, like the movies specifically. It's one of those franchises that I'm kind of sour on purely because of like how, I know it's not Disney, so it hasn't been Disneyfied technically, but like, you know, how just modern media-ified those movies have become in the modern era. But like, man, those early Jurassic Park movies are great. Yes. Devilish. If you can think of it, I've probably said it once today. Today's been it's been a stream. It's been a stream. Like that first Jurassic Park movie, all-time classic. I really wish that I'd never seen any trailers or ads for Jurassic World. Look at all them wheelbarrows working hard. It's beautiful. It's amazing that Disney had to butcher 2 huge movies before they got it right and or wrong, you mean? And or wrong. Uh-huh. Get it? See the it's wordplay. If you have to explain the joke, it's not funny. Blind, just stop talking. Let's place this here. It's amazing that Disney has butchered and demolished so many of their franchises, and people are still giving them money. That's truly astonishing to me. Because see, for me, they kind of largely fucked up those franchises so much that I'm like, I just don't want to, I just don't want to anymore. Just not gonna anymore, and I don't, and I'm better off for it. Zodwick in YouTube chat says, "Hey Blind, thank you for your contribution to the no clip video, and just want to say very well done." I literally walked up to they had been working on that thing for like a year and a half, and I walked up to Danny at PAX and was just like, "Hey, so I asked how the Dwarf Fortress documentary was coming along for. I think I actually mentioned a different game first, but I asked how the Dwarf Fortress documentary was coming along, and he's like, so our footage guy's kind of given up." Because it's just too much of a time commitment to learn to play that game functionally enough to be able to get all the footage needed. And I'm just like, well, I play the game for a living, so if you need footage, let me know. And then he's like, wait, you're that guy, shit. Because upon researching Dwarf Fortress, he'd already found my channel and whatnot. Okay, there we go, cutting through that. But yeah, that was a fun side project, which is also why, like, I've been able to say unironically a number of times recently when people are just like, I miss insert thing about older version of Dwarf Fort, or like, I'm gonna go back and play this version of Dwarf Fort, and I'm like, man, I had to do that for a side project recently, and let me tell you, it's for this reason. It's fucked for this reason. Or like, my God, like, you don't realize how nice it is to not have to do insert thing here. I mean, like, it's pretty obvious, especially in the first episode, because the first episode of the No Clip Dwarf Fort video or documentary, they include a chunk of one of my interviews of Tarn talking about how kobolds speak is how they used to talk, how him and his brother used to yell at cats. That's from one of my videos. So he'd clearly already found and watched those, I guess. Or at least watched some of them. Bits and pieces. Word. He didn't use that bit, which made me kind of sad, but... I mean, I saw it and answered it, Zodwick. But yeah. You know, I'm just happy that thing finally got finished. Like, honestly, there was a good while there where talking with people behind the scenes was very worried that No Clip Dwarf Fort doc was never going to release. It's got to be one of the longer cooking times they've had for a doc that they've done. But it grew on you? It's called Childhood Nostalgia. Those still aren't great movies, but they're good kids' movies. Like, although, if I had kids, I'll put it this way. I would rather watch Star Wars Episode 1 over and over and over than have to watch, like, Frozen on repeat. So, like, when we're talking about, like, kids' movies, I wouldn't say Star Wars Episode 1 is the best Star Wars movie, but it's not a bad kids' movie. You know? Like, if you have to deal with Jar Jar Binks or, like, how to build a snowman. Do you want to build a snowman? You know, like, if you're given the option, I'd take the Star War any day. Calling it a kids movie is offensive? The fuck do you think it is? My guy. We're in an ad break. I should pause the game. Don't offend your Phantom Menace? Put your Phantom down, and I'll menace at it all I want, okay? It's because it's a mod and not the way the game is designed to be viewed, Amber. I might be right. Why would I say something if I was wrong? I'm not saying it's like a terrible movie or anything. Like, it's a fine movie. It's not even remotely close to the worst Star Wars movie either. It's just not a great Star Wars movie. They only made 3 of those. And the only actually good quality thing to come out of Star Wars Episode 1 was the pod racing video game. Like, and even that, actually, I don't know if I would say it's quality. The only thing I genuinely enjoyed out of that was the pod racing video game. Lego Star Wars? Well, I mean, that happened without Episode 1, but... Wasn't the original Lego Star Wars the original trilogy? Or is my memory bad? Man, I've got such double standards. Just like sit here talking shit about how GoldenEye is a terrible video game and there's better first-person shooters, and then unironically state that like Pod Racer is a good game. Nobody's perfect. I'm pretty sure that Jar Jar fighting Olaf has probably happened in Fortnite already, Hilmar in YouTube chat. They've probably fought each other with, like, M16s in Fortnite. That has to have happened. Also, for a while there, like... Is it just me, or is Fortnite just video game Walmart? It's like cheap, shitty knockoffs of every single IP on Earth. I mean, I'd agree with you there. At least Perfect Dark was kind of interesting. StarCraft 64. Whenever people remind me that StarCraft 64 existed, it hurts my brain a little bit, and then I move on with my day. Fortnite is video game Temu. There's probably a video game Temu, and it's not Fortnite. The reason I'm going to say it's not Fortnite is because those skins are way too expensive to be Temu, and also... it's not Chinese. So... have I played Caves of Cud? Chat, should we tell him or should I be a sarcastic twit? Yes, I've played Caves of Cud. I have about 400 hours in Caves of Cud. I've done multiple videos on Caves of Cud. Video game Temu is Roblox. Ooh, true. Although Roblox also has shit in it that's like way too expensive. Although I'll be honest, I've spent maybe about 90 seconds of my life on Temu and mostly just seen very strange Temu ads. So I don't actually know how much things cost on Temu. So maybe there is expensive shit on Temu. Speaking of Perfect Dark, have you seen the like the very early preview for that new Perfect Dark? Kind of looks like a weird hybrid. It kind of just looks like Mirror's Edge with good shooting. If they actually make that game and it actually comes out as good as it looks, that might not be a bad game. It's kind of crazy. How many hours in Dwarf Fortress do you have? On the Steam version, it's like 3,100. But I've been playing this game on and off since 2009. So fucking God knows. I know for a fact I streamed about 8,000 hours of it before it came out on Steam. Just according to Twitch stats. At least one. True. More than one. Yeah. I think. That's all the plump helmet wine I've been drinking. It's really clouding my judgment and memory. Hey, chat, guess what? This is the last layer down I need to go. Probably in that ballpark, Amber. Do I dream about this game? Not really. I don't generally dream.
Woo.
And when I do, my dreams are, like, more abstract, I guess. But I don't generally dream, so it's... Plump Helmet is a mushroom that can be brewed into beer. Or wine, technically. And you don't brew wines, so... You should assume no prior knowledge. This is true, I should. But I've also been digging a tunnel for 5 hours, and when I'm bored of what I'm doing in a video game and excited for it to be over, my level of sass just slowly rises the more bored I am. And I am extremely bored because I've been building this same fucking spiral staircase, ramp, I know, for a very long time. So if you get unapologetic, no apparent reason sass from me, I'm sorry. I'm not a perfect person. What do you want me to do? Rip my tongue out? Then you'll get less sass, but also significantly less talking. So, I guess I could just go contract Glot Rot. But then, you know, I'd have to, like, go find a flashbang and some green goo and a Quidzu stem and then, like, morph them together. Probably not a Quidzu stem. Probably salty water or something. Morph them together inside of a jar and then set the flashbang off in front of me and then spray it on my tongue. And then sleep in one of those medical beds for multiple days. Iron Shank's more fun. I might have Iron Shank right now. I'm not even standing. My legs might just be straight wrought iron rods. Speaking of the flashback, I did genuinely once because there's a disease that I can never remember the name of that gives you blindness in CUD. I once cured it and the way to cure it was literally set yourself on fire and then set off a flashbang in front of you. So it was like, well, okay, make a campfire, stand at the campfire, and then set off a flashbang. And I was really happy because I could very easily craft flashbangs, and setting yourself on fire is not hard, so. It was actually great. Is it monochrome? Yeah, that's the name of it. You know, I fucking hate them because they're always annoying to deal with, but yeah, no, I do agree that they are mechanically and lore-wise, they're cool. I'll give you that, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't fucking hate them. So this is a ramp that goes from the surface up to here. This is the surface. Down to the first cavern layer so that it can then go this way so that it can then, surprise, connect to another ramp. Haha, you thought I was done. I am. And then connect to my front door, which is this. Don't mind the weird ramps. It's fine. They won't hurt you if you don't look at them funny. But over here, it's my front door. And in order to get wagons into the fortress, I need to have access for wagons, so I'm building wagon access. That's what it's for. Also, in regards to you should have presumed no prior knowledge, that's funny to me because it just makes me think about podcasts I listen to where they say, if you have no prior F1 knowledge. All right. Speaking of, hallelujah, we fucking made it. Such overkill. Yeah, China was really boring. At least Australia was good this year. Did you hear F1? No. That's your ears are deceiving you. Should have your hearing checked. But I do listen to Shift F1. And yes, I do watch Formula 1. I'll stop beating around turn 13. You learned how to dig channels through the worst way. You got the last of the miner's baby was following her, so she just... Oh, no. I will say that my favorite Formula 1 meme is whenever Formula Dank remembers, because they realize this every so often, that Drew Scanlon is one of the hosts of Shift F1. And it's funny to me because it's just like, wait... Surprised Whiteface is a podcaster who talks about Formula 1 that I listen to? What? Your knowledge of F1 is literally zero. Yeah, that's why I generally don't talk about Formula 1 very much. Is because it gives people license to talk about other sport, which I know literally nothing about, so I generally just, like, don't bother. Cargo fast and not in circle, that's what American do? I think the reason that you want Hamilton to do well is he's one of the few drivers who's obscenely wealthy, who's also managed to maintain some semblance of humanity. Like, Lewis Hamilton, when he talks, he just kind of seems like a person. He doesn't seem like a weird alien from outer space, which a lot of them seem like. Tell me everything about cricket. Hold on. This is one of the rare times, Sanic, where I wish I had a soundboard so I could just hit a button and make cricket sound. Got him. But that's all I know about cricket, because that's all I've ever done when I've watched cricket is fall asleep and hear cricket sounds. Is F1 a real thing or just a video game? Yes, both. Also, wouldn't if it was a video game imply that it was a real thing? Aren't video games real? Our video games aren't real to you? Chat, I'm losing it. Send help, please. Are we even real? Valid point. Disco Waffles, thanks for the 20th month. Thank you for continuing to support this stupidity. You're a Castrol and you're definitely real. I mean, I've told this story a million times, but back when I first started making some money on Twitch, and the first time I cut my hours back at the time, main source of income in fast food, my dad took me aside and was basically like, you know, you are positive that the people in your chat that are giving you money are real and not bots from China, right? He genuinely didn't believe me that I was making money on the internet doing this until I showed him my paycheck after a couple of years. And it was like above, like, you know, my internet bill. amount of money. No, but the money's, you know, valid point, actually.
Over here, he has a sword.
Okay, let's do that. My stairwell is done. Mostly. I think TikTok has entered the chat, but you know, I'm glad that I'm not the only person who just thinks about Kesha whenever the word TikTok is words TikTok are mentioned. We done did it. On the clock, yep. I don't like bourbon very much because it just kind of tastes like alcohol water to me. I would, you're going to hate me for this if you like bourbon. I would rather drink vodka or scotch. If I'm going to drink a whiskey, I'd rather drink scotch because it actually tastes like something, or vodka for its sweet and detailed, simple notes. Whoa, golden rank. Thanks for the 5-pack. Appreciate you. But Kentucky bourbon is like, meh. And also, literally can't buy it in Canada right now. So, thus, I am contractually Canadianly obliged to say, blech. It's been a minute, dude. It's good. It's good to see you. Hope you've been well. Dodged a sub. Feels bad, man. Feels the baddest. It's okay. You rolled high. Maybe you'll roll high on something useful next. Bad vodka tastes like alcohol with water. Good vodka tastes like caramel. I do unironically like vodka, and to be honest with you, I do like some bourbons, but being in Canada, no, sorry, I'll stick to scotch, thanks. Also, like, this is my actual take on bourbon. I like whiskey a whole lot. My issue with bourbon is a very cheap way of making alcohol, traditionally. But because bourbon has so many stupid fucking laws around it about where you can make it, I can buy something that is, by all counts, bourbon for $20 for a bottle that tastes as good as a $90 bottle here of actual bourbon. So, bourbon should be the poor man's whiskey. Like, scotch is expensive, I get it. But if I'm gonna fork over $90 for a bottle, I'll spend the extra 10 and get a nice bottle of scotch, then buy the whiskey. That just tastes like bourbon. That's my issue with bourbon. Is that it's become enough of a thing that people seek out that I kind of just don't want it because it's too expensive for what it is. And I also, you know, wouldn't buy the cheap bottle of the thing that's by all counts bourbon because I don't know if anybody else is this way, but like if I buy an expensive bottle of something, I don't drink it. It just sits on my shelf. And it becomes a special occasion thing because, like, I spent $100 on that bottle. I'm not going to drink it all at once. God damn it. Certainly not going to share it all or with friends and, like, power through it. Because, like, that's... No, we'll pull out the more reasonable price bottles. Fuck Crown Royal. I would rather drink, like, battery acid. That shit's disgusting. I'm not actually joking. That shit is actually disgusting. I would rather drink water. What's the word I'm looking for here? If I had Buffalo Trace, yeah, it tastes like nothing and is too expensive for what it is. No, you just like to drink to get drunk. There's nothing wrong with that, Twizzler, but that's all that stuff's good for. Found the Malort drinker. I kind of wish we could get Malort easier up here because I kind of don't hate it. Not to say that it's good. It's not. It's weird, but it's a fun thing to do with friends when you can just, like, sip it and be like, yeah, I'm fine. I can drink almost anything and I'll be okay. Like, I don't have the visceral response to it that some people do. With another evil? Ah, so you're like me and helping the Canadian craft beer industry go out of business by just simply purchasing weed instead. Okay. I really wonder what these dwarves have been up to. There's just like clothes and random seeds everywhere. Gotta reorganize a bunch of stuff. Need to find some mead. There was a really good meadery in Vancouver for a little bit there, and it's still hard to find their stuff, and it kind of makes me sad. I wish it was easier to find their stuff. I really like it. Mead is kind of hard to come by out here. You know that stuff's still a prison sentence in some countries, right, Twizzler? I realize that not all people are as civilized as Canada. The suck, I guess. Well, I don't know. I like weed, but it's not great. You're not saying that respectfully. Don't lie. There's a meadery in the Keys about 2 hours. That's a permanent booth at your local Renaissance fair. Nice. I mean, that's like the perfect thing that for a meadery is to have a permanent booth at the Ren Fair. So much construction. All right. There's going to be some busy dwarves in a sec. I thought you really liked stoning the peasants, which is why you go to the Ren Fair. There's so much construction happening. The entirety of the population basically has been told to grab a boulder simultaneously. And I've still got all of this to do, and all the way up to here. And the last of it, which I guess we'll just do up to here. I ran out of my blocks, so I'm going to have to select a different type. Whoops. I may just pave this whole thing in here. Oopsies. Never mind. Out of quartzite. But I may end up just paving that whole thing. These ain't boulder haulers. These are all bricklayers. You're just a really big Stone Temple Pilots fan? Ah, well, fair enough, I guess. But your brother super hates on it, so it's a bit of a fraud situation. What does it matter what your brother thinks of it? I mean, my dad passively hates on the fact that I smoke weed, and same with my mom. But, like, I think they've just kind of accepted it at this point. Yeah, I mean, there's kind of nothing they can really do about it. It's beneficial to me and my dumb brain, so. Oh no, somebody's upset again. Who's that? Kumil, what are you upset about? Experienced trauma, eh? You even have a bedroom. You want to be with family, friends, and martial training. Are you brave? Dreams of raising a family. Gripped by crippling shyness. Fearful in the face of imminent danger. You're the one passively hating on your mom for smoking weed? Don't be mean to your mom. Someone I live with complains of the smell, so I don't smoke flower a lot, even though one of our neighbors behind us smokes it all the time. Well, I mean, I think there is something to be said for, like, you know, being conscious of people around you, but at least I would say that. Nope, not polished stones, cut gems. Meat is really tasty, by the way. That's why you're glad dab pens exist. Yeah. I think you can disapprove of somebody for doing something, but don't hate on them. Although recently I actually haven't been smoking much. I've mostly just been Eating edibles. Been using these CBD edibles because I find that they work better than my medically prescribed sleeping pills. And they're cheaper, so. And I'm not as groggy in the morning, which is nice. Your only your only drug is life and sometimes crack. Noted. But these are like no THC edibles. They're literally just CBD. It's like $40 for 40 of them. They have like, it's like 25 milligrams of CBD in them, which is enough to like put me to sleep. Which is kind of all I really need. Just need the knockout. And all that, you switched from a THC edible to a CBD edible without knowing it once, and all that happened was you laid in bed and felt sad. You know, this goes for drinking as well as weed, and also I would say just any substance that alters your brain chemistry. If you go into something in a bad mood, it just makes the bad mood worse. Don't blame the substance, blame the mindset. What about crack? I've never done crack, so I couldn't tell you, and also maybe don't do crack, kids. Do you drink coffee, Kestrel North? You just mold yourself once a month. Oh no. Forgotten beast named Sleck. If it's not a snack, I'll be upset. A huge quadruped composed of gray chalice stoning. I'm upset. It has 3 long straight horns and it squirms and fidgets. Beware its hunger for warm blood. You drink tea. Well, so you drink something with caffeine in it, all right? Have you ever had like that thought where you're just like, man, I'm really tired. This tea isn't going to wake me up. This caffeine isn't going to wake me up. I need 2 to wake me up today. And then you drink 2 and you still don't feel awake? It's kind of the same thing. And before crack tea, I'm not gonna. That's all I have to say to you about crack. Okay. Anyway, beware its hunger for warm blood. Where it? Oh, it's very far away. Sleck, definitely not a snack. It did remind me though that I should probably go here. Finish this. All good. No, they're still forgotten because I already forgot about it. You're making my job difficult, so I would appreciate it if you'd stop it with the crack jokes, my friend. Because that's what they are, jokes. Don't do drugs, kids. I mean, don't actually do crack. Okay. That's called having ADHD. Coke and Pepsi making you sleepy. Yikes, Streety. As long as you're not self-promoting your, you know, self-employed empire, like that person with their video game earlier, about your personal hobbies. You don't even know where it came from. It's fun to say, I guess. Also, could have fooled me, I guess is the other thing I should say. What happened earlier with the video game? I don't know what you mean. We're playing a video game? I thought we were having a very educational discussion about substances that humans take. I can tell, Hilmar. You have a good night's sleep. Thanks for hanging out, dude. It's been a solid 9 hours of stream. I'll tell you this, S plus. Caffeine is the only substance I've ever done that has had such noticeable withdrawal symptoms that, like, I'm scared to not take it. Oh, the guy that I mentioned in self-promoting video game? A person popped into my chat and with a very dwarfy username and then said Rock and Stone, and I was like, wrong game, but close enough. And then they said they have a real challenge for me playing name of their video game, which has dwarf in the name. And I said, no, and if you want me to play your game or self-promote your game in my chat, please send me an email. And then they said, well, I'm going to, they said, it's okay, I don't care if you don't play it. I'm here to here to get your chat to play it or something to that effect. And then I timed them out for 10 minutes because I was like, okay, let's just make my point here. And then 10 minutes later, or maybe more than that, about 30 minutes later, they came back and said, hello, daddy, I'm back, or something along those lines. And I was like, you know what? You can just go away forever. I just don't need to talk to you. Do you mind if I ask some nude questions? Probably, but I'll answer them anyway. You just got to this game seeing my videos on Dwarf Fortress, and there's a lot you still don't understand. I mean, that's most of Dwarf Fortress, to be honest. I don't understand most of this game, and I've been playing it for way too long. Yeah, no, like, coffee withdrawals are no joke, man. How to not promote your game 101. And the specialty coffee, interesting. There's this interesting study into caffeine and coffee and caffeine. Having too much caffeine is actually a stress inducer if you hit your capacity. It's like it's an anxiety inducer, isn't it? Like it can cause heart palpitations and some other pretty crazy effects. This is Sunstreaker in the YouTube chat is talking about coffee stuff, which in turn makes you stressed, and then the body's response is to shut down and rest to recover. So you get tired from too much coffee. Yeah, no. If you have too much caffeine, like your body just sods off for a bit. No. You cannot make steel once they've been formed into bricks. Only when they're in boulder form. 219 Nate. Do I have a cheesemaker? I do not have a cheesemaker. Otherwise, a nice, safe profession that never encounters accidents whatsoever. Probably, how about a farmer? Like, this dwarf's technically a beekeeper, but... If you drink too much coffee, Twizzler, might I interest you in a vile mug of darkness? So that you too can be a vile mug of darkness in the morning. I mean, miners are like the most dangerous job you could do in the fort currently, but he always presents himself as extravagantly as possible, displaying a magnificent image to the world, and doesn't often feel envious of others, and has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others. He is not particularly interested in what others think of him, and he doesn't seek out excitement. He has a sense of humor, and he often acts with compassion. He tends to think before acting, and he generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity, and he doesn't focus on material goods. Wait, what? Extravagant, but doesn't focus, not materialist. Okay, sure. He lowers his eyes when he's nervous, and when he's nervous, he often interrupts others during conversations. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't mind being outdoors, at least for a time. He dreams of crafting a masterwork someday and personally likes lignite, copper, and yellow zircon. Giant jackals for their resourceful nature and the words of the prim wisps, and prefers to consume brown recluse spider, as in live brown recluse spiders, and pearl mullet beer, and hates bats, but eats spiders. What the fuck's wrong with you? He's best friends with Anon 4, and friends with several other dwarves, and is a member of the Doctrine of Bronze. Eats brown. He prefers to consume brown recluse spiders. Like, that's what it says. See, he prefers to consume, which means, like, if he's starving and he's on a map with brown recluse spiders and he manages to catch one and eats it while he's starving to death, he'll get a happy thought. No, wouldn't it be like a tall mug of wine, or no, it'd be a tall mug of pearl mullet beer with a side dish of spiders. It's also only 2 days. Drink in the week, take the weekend off, and you won't suffer any negative effects. I disagree with this because the last time I tried to not drink coffee, I had, like, migraines for about a week. The Forgotten Beast, Kakwi, has come. Sounds French. An enormous quadruped composed of peridot. It has a long straight tail and it squirms and fidgets. Beware its poison vapor. Wear it? Hold on. Actually, Dwarfith, get insideth. And, oh, it's very far away. Okay, I need to actually make this accessible. Because this cavern layer currently isn't accessible. Because I would like to start catching cavern creatures from the lower levels. Hey, Frago. How you been? What's up? I feel like a lot of regulars that I'd had for a very long time all kind of vanished around the same time, and everybody's like slowly coming back. I'm not sure why, but it's been neat. What's up, dude? You moved to my time zone so you get less chance to watch after work? Oh, that makes sense. So I should stream later then, is what you're saying. I don't work in time scales that long. But I think it may be people going back to work, Shy Pandemonium. Any tips for completely fresh players? Don't overthink it. Dwarves will die sometimes. It's not your fault. You're not doing anything wrong. That's all I really got. Oh, I see where I screwed up. Also, you can start a new fort in the same world or an adventurer in the same world after your fort dies. So if your fort falls apart, the game's not over yet. Losing a fortress is a form of progression, not a win-lose state. Shane, I only look at the YouTube chat about every 10 minutes and don't see everything that's written everywhere because the YouTube chat is much slower than the Twitch chat. So did you ask obvious questions? Yes, you asked an obvious question because if you look at the biggest playlist on my YouTube channel, that will answer your question. What's my highest population? I don't exactly know, but before version like 50.07 or whatever it was, when SDL2 came out, it wasn't really like frame rate logical to have more than 150 dwarves. So I've had about 450 dwarves once with a playable frame rate in version 47.05 and earlier. If I were to have 170 dwarves on this computer, and I did that recently for the NoClip doc, this computer would run the game at less than 20 frames a second. Currently, we're running at about 45 with 170 because of how big this map is. Population like peaks are just kind of a silly metric, and I don't really pay attention to them. And the oldest fort's Long Death. But if you want consistent responses, you have to talk to the Twitch chat. Otherwise, I do miss things in the YouTube chat. My bad. It happens to the best of us. It's time to release the lower cave layers. So this is Journey in the YouTube chat, and this is why I say don't overthink things. Dwarf Fortress does a lot of things with a lot of variants that catch people off guard. They say, I don't understand if my game is bugged. The third cavern, it's the third embark, and I get where the caves are at the very bottom of the map, all touching each other. Dwarf Fortress does some things with extreme variance. No, your game is not bugged. That just happens sometimes. If things were the same every time, Dwarf Fortress would be boring and just not the same. What makes Dwarf Fortress interesting is that there's a lot of variance. Guess that one ran off and vanished. No, it pisses them off, Jake Work. Everything, so Jake Work in YouTube chat says, destroying the trader's post with the trader's stuff on it will get you all the stuff without pissing them off. That is not true. That is a false statement. If you destroy a trader's post, then every single item that is not brought back onto the map from the traders is considered lost. And you are blamed for it because it was lost while in your possession on your map, thus presumed you stole it. So if for some reason traders get disturbed and all of the stuff is lost, yes, they blame you for it. Will it make them go to war with you immediately? No, but yes, they do blame you for it. Plenty of things used to be true, but it still makes it wrong. Nate? If you read Legends, and items are discovered missing, it is noted in Legends as items were misplaced or inconsistent trading was noticed. So be cautious with inconsistencies. But you don't need to apologize to me. It's just not true. Pixels. Thank you very much for the Prime subscription. Appreciate you. You know what? I think I'll just open this back up. We'll just be cautious. The problem is I don't really have a easy way of detecting when there's a beast coming. Outside of just looking. But don't feel that bad. There was one time I was watching a stream of Dwarf, and there was a guy on voice chat, like, Twitch chat, quick, if you type in !enter, you'll have a chance to win a mug from the Phantom Menace. More like the Phantom Muggus. In chat, it's a 3 vial force of mugs, one of these. Type in !enter for your chance to win one of 3 mugs. But I think I know who that is. Phantom. I want to mine out this Cinnabar. Get it. I was saying a thing. I was watching a stream once, and the person in question streaming had a friend on voice chat who was kind of instructing and giving them tips. And somebody else joined voice chat and said, "Oh, I can help. I've played this game a lot." Blah 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 blah. Said a bunch of stuff. And the first thing that they said was, don't dig your rooms too big or they'll cave in. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And popped up in the chat and was like, so that was removed from the game in 2007? They're like, okay, well, I guess I've been busted. I haven't played the game much since then. I'm like, it's changed a bit since 2007. Yeah, trust me, this is a really big mug. I don't have a small head. Or like a dinner-sized soup. I don't think they did. I'm pretty sure this was legitimately somebody who played the game back in like the Something Awful 2D era. Like, I think that person was trying to like genuinely help, but the game has changed quite a bit since then, though. Ozenthium, Fish GPS, and Raxlin? If you click on that redeem link, you can redeem your mugs. It doesn't matter in regards to caps. It's not case sensitive. And thanks for gifting the mugs. Anakin. I think Twizzler Online is using a gifting mechanism to make their bad taste in movies seem slightly better. It's okay, I'll permit it. I take bribes. Prove it? I mean, I literally could if you want me to, but I'm not going to do that because that would require me opening up my Shopify dashboard, which has your email. And I could also look up your email that's connected to your Twitch account because you're subscribed to me. So if they happen to be the same, I could confirm it. So I'm just not going to because suspicions are enough for me. That would be weird and creepy, and I wouldn't do that. Man, look at all this Cinnabar and this jet. Oh, all the good stone colors is down here. Welp. Oh, no, I didn't screw it up. Okay. Cinnabar sounds sick. It's just the very red rock. I like it because it's a good color. Great TM, hello? You did immediately drop a mountain. Sure, but like when you're digging underground, like if I just dig a room like this, it's not going to cave in, right? That's the information that the person was giving the guy was like, yeah, if you dig, it was like if you dig a room bigger than 12 by 12, it'll cave in. It's like, that's not true. But, you know. Why is the nicest rock the most toxic? I ask myself that same question about a lot of things on the internet. And a nice 3 layers of mudstone, which despite the name has a nice gray tone. Mudstone used to be more brown. It used to look closer to a conglomerate. Yeah, admittedly, Jakework, in regards to stuff with traders and not pissing them off, the game doesn't really show faction reputation very well in Dwarf Fortress. It's pretty... It's very well hidden. So, you get a pass. But it's just something I desperately feel the need to tell people when they suggest that it is true, because then people, like, keep on perpetuating that, and it's, you know, not true. You don't really want people playing the game thinking that they're not going to go to war with something eventually if they just steal all their stuff. It's like, well, you will. It'll take a while. Like, you'll have to do it a couple times, but you will eventually end up at war with everybody if you just steal their stuff every time. And if that's what you want, then, like, you know, go nuts. Like, steal away, but just remember there's a seize button, so you could just seize their stuff without... And then you get a fun line of dialogue of them being unhappy with you instead of, like, you know... Instead of you going through the effort to deconstruct and reconstruct your trading depot. The bones of my enemies, Darksan, I think? I mean, Cinnabar cups would be better for selling to elves than lead cups, because at the very least, Cinnabar cups are lighter, and lead is heavy, and because the elves don't bring wagons, they just bring, like, pack animals. The actual amount of weight they can carry is pretty low, so, like, lead is probably a bad thing to trade to elves. You're right. You were at work when you started stream. You're in bed now? I have been live for 9.5 hours, which means I should probably call it. Hey, chat room. It's been a long day. Hope you had a good one. YouTube chat, I'm shutting you guys down now. Twitch chat, don't run off. I do have to say a real quick thank you, though, before I shut you down, YouTube chat. Oh, no, you killed it. No, you didn't. You just made me look at the clock. I gotta say, seriously, though, thanks for hanging out today. Today was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. We will be I was about to say that's done. We will be streaming tomorrow, although it will be a short stream. It's going to be one of those, like, this will be, like, 6 hours or something. I think we're going to go take a look at Norland, because I haven't played Norland in a while. And that game's